Sorry about that, you guys. Good morning, good morning. How is everyone? All-time high territory. This is crazy stuff. Fun times, fun times. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, PM. Who's ready to make some money today? Let's go. Ready to make some money. Throw some dollar bills in the chat if you're ready to make some money. Good morning, good morning. How do I approach all-time high trading? I'll tell you how I do not approach it. What was it, December, when we had our last all-time highs? I was trying to short the top. I know it's one of those things that you read in all the books and you learn from all the gurus. Don't try to catch a falling knife and don't try to short the top. But I guess it's one of those things that you have to learn yourself. And I definitely lost a lot of money trying to short the top. So don't do that, you guys. That's not what we're going to do today. We're not going to try to find the top and then short it. So to answer your question, PM, how do I approach all-time high trading? Honestly, I'm going to be looking for longs today. I'm going to be looking for entries on longs. So if we have any sort of retracement to any of these levels, that's where I'd be looking for a long entry. Because obviously all-time high trading is kind of you don't have any levels to go off of. Like, we're not in a spot where there's high volume or like support and resistance. So it's definitely different territory. And my game plan is playing off of levels. So I'm definitely not going to have a level that I can short off of. So I'm going to be looking for seeing how the market opens. And if it comes down to any of these levels, like if it comes down to yesterday's high, previous day high, and has a good bounce, that could be a good long, because that's also right where VWAP is. So this could be a potential spot for a bounce, VWAP, and previous day high level. If it decides to come down and grab any of like the London or Asia low liquidity, perhaps, and then bounce, that could be a possible spot for a long. So maybe here, and then maybe here, because both of those spots have pretty good confluences as well. This spot is the overnight session VWAP, and this spot is right around the previous day VWAP. This is from Tuesday. So that's how I'm going to approach today, is look for a pullback to enter long. But definitely going to be patient today. I do have a 50K Top 1 Futures Pro account to give away today, so that'll be fun. We'll do that later, maybe once we've already taken trades and we're finishing up, or if the market's not really giving us any good trades and we have a period where there's some downtime. Good morning, Paul. So I'll be trading my Top 1 Futures accounts with you guys. I do also have my futures desk accounts pulled up. So, if there's a lot of trades, a lot of opportunities, then I might be trading multiple. But I'm going to do Top 1 Futures first. Good morning. Hi, Mama. Yeah, I know. I saw you on the other stream. I had something happen where I had to start it over. So, glad you found the new one. Good morning, Dee. Alexis, no, this will be the second time I've done a giveaway. I did one, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but this is the second time. All right, we got market open in, yeah, G-Man won the first one, but he already had top one futures accounts. So he gave it to the next winner, which was awesome. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go close my door. My dog just opened my office door. We have a little bit of thunder going on. So my dog got scared. He keeps trying to come in here. But then if I leave him in here, he's going to start whining because he's going to want to go out. So, you know, one of those annoying things. We'll see how many more times he opens the door. No, our door is, it's like one of those, I don't know what kind of latch it is, but it's not like a knob. It's the kind that you can just like push and it goes forward. It opens. So he just nudges it with his nose. How does the giveaway work? Alexis, I'm going to put a form, like a Google form in the chat, and you'll just put in your name and email and stuff. And not so that I can spam you, but because if I give you the account, they're going to need your email address to set it up. So I'll put that in the chat when it's time to do the giveaway, and you can just enter that, and then I'll do a drawing. All right, so market's open in about 3 minutes. We're just going to be patient. It'll be interesting to see if it just like jumps up and continues to new all-time highs in the open, or if hopefully we get a little pullback so that we can enter long. Good morning, Shaznagez. How's it going? For some reason, my computer is not charging. All right, got it. I was a little worried. I was like, man, I'm going to lose the stream in like 10 minutes if my computer doesn't start charging. All right, Financial Juice looking at news. We got more Powell testifying. Man. Never mind, I didn't refresh. That was yesterday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, in 30 minutes, Powell testifies again. Hopefully it's not like yesterday where it's just choppy price action. And then we have U.S. new home sales in 30 minutes as well. So 10 o'clock Eastern time for both of those. And then crude oil inventories at 10:30 Eastern. That is a red folder event, but likely won't affect NQ that much. Didn't have pre-market alerts set for yourself to catch the move. because all-time high is hard to play. Yeah, like I was saying before, like it's not really at any levels. Here, let me delete my line so we can actually see what the market's doing now that it has opened. And we'll see what we get. Looks like we're just going to jump up to all-time highs right off the bat. Not going to get a pullback like I was hoping. So just going to be patient. Definitely not going to be trying to short the top. That's not what I'm going to do. You guys are welcome to, but that's not in my game plan today. I'm going to be looking for a pullback to one of these levels to get in. All right, I'm going to put my anchored VWAP on that opening candle. And let's wait and see. What's your win rate average? It depends. 50 to 60% usually, like overall. I've definitely had weeks where it's much higher, like 68%. I've had weeks where it's a little bit lower. I definitely go for higher risk to reward trades. Like I usually try to get 2 to 3 R. So win rate is a little bit lower. I need to know the reason why people trade NQ. Why not? Why not? You're an ES trader, right? Huh, mama? All right, 3 minutes in so far. And so far, this is our opening range low. And then our opening range high so far. I'll keep moving these as price action continues. So if you guys are tuning in, my game plan today is to stay patient, not short the top. I will not be trying to find a top and taking a short. That's a good way to lose a lot of money. And I'm going to be waiting for a pullback to some of these levels so that I can get long. That's my plan today. I guess I can move this all-time high since it's just going to be continuing. I'm going to delete that for now. Welcome, you guys. Glad to have you. If you haven't already, go hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Right now, I'm just going to sit patient, see how this 15-minute opening range plays out. And I'm hoping for a pullback to one of these levels. I'm watching either VWAP, which is sitting right at previous day high. So a pullback to this area would be nice. I'd pay attention to that. And then honestly, any of these, because point of control is definitely a favorite of mine for an area of support or resistance, and that is right at London's low, so that could be a good liquidity sweep area. And then Asia low as well, if it decides to come all the way down here, which has some confluence with yesterday's anchored VWAP. So a pullback to any of these areas, I'd be interested in watching the reaction and possibly taking a long. How mama, you're looking at trading crypto too, or you currently trade crypto and you're considering trading futures along with crypto. Not sure what you meant by that. So with Pal speaking in about 25 minutes, I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be a little bit like yesterday with that choppiness waiting for him. I hope not, though. I hope we get some good direction. Nice little pullback with some good momentum and volume long. That would be ideal. But we'll see. And then, like I said, I'll be doing a giveaway later too. After things slow down a little bit and maybe we've already taken a trade and we're done, or if price action is just gross, and that'll be a good distraction for me not to be taking a trade when I shouldn't be. That's kind of what happened yesterday, G-Man. I could tell that it was choppy, and I was sitting there. I was like, maybe this is a no trade day. And then, of course, what did I do? I took a trade, ended up taking 3 trades, and I finished red on the day. And it's frustrating in hindsight, looking back. Like, I knew that price action was bad. I was saying it out loud in front of you guys. So I should have just finished even, flat, instead of red. It's all right. You live and learn, right? Always learning and improving. So trading at all-time high is definitely tough, you guys, because we don't have any resistance up here that we're looking at. The only thing I can hope for is having it come down to an area of support to take a long. But there's nothing stopping us overhead at this point. So don't want to be taking shorts. And if you guys are new-ish to trading and you haven't experienced all-time highs yet, this is just my somewhat new experience as well. Like, I'm not a seasoned trader having done this for 10 years. I would recommend avoiding shorts today too. Unless for some reason, like, news comes out and we just dump. Like, if we're below Asia low and we just keep going, then obviously things could change and we could possibly be taking shorts. But we're not even talking about that right now. I just mean up here, when we continue to be making all-time highs, then I wouldn't recommend taking shorts up here. G-Man, did you not trade last night? Like, were you not looking at your charts, or you just didn't see one that looked good to you? Good morning, Charles. Right now, we're just continuing that slow grind up. Yeah, I glanced at gold last night, and it looked like it already started to move up even before that, like 8, 9 o'clock Eastern time, when you typically look at it. So far, the chop isn't as bad as yesterday, but I feel like the momentum is definitely slower, and it could be because Pal is speaking in about 20 minutes. Earlier, like last night, I had an anchored VWAP at the all-time high. And then I moved it this morning when we made a new one. And then eventually I just deleted the anchor VWAP because we kept going higher. and I kept having to move it. I was like, all right, I guess we're not getting a pullback. We don't need to anchor that high right now. Wonder how high we're going to continue to go. Continuing to grind up and up and up. Morning affiliate drama. Good times. If I remember right, Coach said you're a football coach, so you're probably starting to get into your busy time, huh? Like, practices maybe haven't started yet, but recruiting and like getting ready for the season and all that, I'm guessing you don't get much of a relaxing summer. Just guessing. Good morning, Yasser. How's it going? Right now, we're just watching it continue to grind up to new all-time highs over and over. So being patient, hoping for a pullback to get in long. It's kind of what I'm waiting for. Oh, okay. You get 2 weeks off. And then the grind begins, right? Doing well, Yasser, doing well. It's interesting to look at Bookmap right now. Just because there's so many like there's 120 plus orders at 650, 22,650. Like all these people are thinking it's just going to go up. Lots of orders to the upside. Kind of makes me think that we're just going to continue that slow grind up. So I really hope we get a pullback. It'll be interesting too if we are able to enter on a good pullback. As far as profit targets, like if it's just going to continue slow grinding up to continuous all-time highs, do we just trail our stop loss? Because again, we don't have any resistance up above. So, like, what kind of levels do we set as our profit target? Definitely interesting trading today. A little bit outside of my normal game plan, I'll be honest with you guys. Oh, Yasser got in early. 3rd minute into the New York Open, you got in long. Quick trigger fingers. I don't know if I was going to be that brave. $22,555 and then it'll go down? Well, maybe so, but I'm going to tell you for sure, I'm not going to be the one shorting. If you guys want to short, go for it. I learned my lesson last time, not to try to take a short during all-time high moves. I don't want to lose a bunch of money today. Continuing to move this 15-minute opening range high as it grinds up. We got about 1 more minute after this candle closure. All right, the 15-minute range is set. again, still waiting on a pullback. So I'll be honest with you guys, it might be a boring trading day in terms of entertainment on stream, but I definitely want to be patient. Take some good trades today. Finish green. That's my goal. So now that the opening range has been set, I did kind of mark off these levels here, but honestly, that's a big drop down. Like with how much we're grinding up, I don't see us dropping 100, 150 points to come down and grab these liquidity levels. Something could change, obviously, but as of now, I don't see that happening. So I'm looking here at this little spot with some of these wicks. And that's right below the 15-minute opening range low. So a possibility, if it comes back down and kind of has a little fake out, breakout to the downside, grabs that liquidity, and then comes back up, we could definitely take a long there. So I think that'd be something I'm watching for. Definitely would want a reaction. Like if it gets super heavy, I'm not going to just enter a limit order here just because we're at that level. I like to wait for the reaction first before entering. So that's something I'm watching for right here. But if it continues to get heavy, if indeed we do end up getting a pullback, I'm just kind of giving some if-then scenarios. If we have a good reaction off of this level, we could go long. If not, and we continue to get heavy, then come down to VWAP before retracing up. Have a feeling it would be like yesterday? Yep. Yeah, with Powell speaking again. It could be right. As of now, we're holding above this anchored VWAP. Let's see if we drop below and maybe come back down to this 15-minute opening range low. I'll be getting my fingers ready for a long, possibly. All right, so we have Yasser took a trade. Who else? Who else has taken a trade so far this morning? Was anyone brave enough just to hop in and ride that momentum long? No trade so far for Coach Set. Oh, Shez Miguez, you're going short. Uh-oh. If you're short off of that 15-minute opening range high, then you got a good entry. Definitely, I mean, trade it how you want to trade it, but I would recommend trailing your stop loss just in case this slow grind continues to more and more all-time highs. But yeah, if you can target that 15-minute opening range low, and then depending on how heavy it gets, continuation lower and trail your stop loss. Good trade so far. Depending on your entry. Yeah, that's a good trade. Nice. Definitely continuing your direction. Trail that stop loss. What are you targeting? Where are you going to get out? All right, starting to get some good selling pressure. Again, like I said, I want to wait for a reaction. If it continues to dump, then I'm not going to randomly enter a long. But if we get like a really strong buy up, I'd be interested in a long. So I'm going to be patient here. Let's see what we get. I'd like to see it come a little bit lower and grab this liquidity. Possibly even come back down to VWAP. Definitely not giving me long vibes yet. But I'm not interested in taking a short right now. So let's see if we enter around this area and put it below those wicks. That's not a bad risk to reward, but I could see it coming down to VWAP too. So that's a pretty long way down. Yep, Powell in 8-9 minutes. So be careful, you guys. I know yesterday I was saying, oh, when Powell speaks, we typically go down. He's always so bearish. That didn't really happen yesterday. So I'm just going to pay attention to price action and try not to have a bias. Still playing around with that opening range low area. Let's see if it comes down and grabs this liquidity and has a good reaction off of it at this little gray spot, or if we come down to VWAP. Good trade, Chesniquez. Awesome. That was a good target too, coming down to the 15-minute opening range low. We are getting a buy up off of this low. Man, I didn't come down as low as I wanted. I was really hoping it would come down to like 482. And I think the reason I didn't enter is because I thought there was a possibility it could come all the way down to VWAP, and I just didn't want to have that high of an entry. So could be a missed trade. Let's see how this last 1 minute candle closes. If the momentum is continuing up, the risk to reward is still decent for our stop loss to be below this wick. If it starts to show weakness, then it could come back down to actually grab that liquidity or VWAP. Momentum's starting to slow down a little bit. It'd be interesting to see if it actually rejects at this anchored VWAP and continues lower, because that was a pretty heavy move. And then Powell speaking in 5 minutes. I know I said I wasn't going to short, so I'm not going to pull the trigger super quick. I would definitely be looking for like a little scalp if that's the case. But probably shouldn't be taking shorts. Nope, continuing higher. Man. Yeah, that was definitely a mistrade. That was the idea. Like, I drew that orange line. I was looking for a bounce here. It just didn't get as low as I wanted. And I also didn't want to put my stop loss way below VWAP just in case it went that low. So, did anyone take that bounce off a 15-minute opening range low? Anyone brave enough to take a long there? Oh, Kadir did. I'm kind of mad at myself now. I laid it out perfectly. I just didn't take it. All right, now that we have Powell starting in 3 minutes, let's see. We do have our 15-minute opening range set. So we could possibly come back up here and reject again. Or breakout continuation to the upside. So just going to see how things play out at our levels. Susie going to be patient. I like it. Welcome back, Susie. I don't think I've seen you yet this week. You didn't miss much on yesterday. It was pretty ugly. All right, starting to come back down a little bit, kind of chopping around in the middle. We're about 30 points away from the highs from today. The tough thing about waiting until Powell speaks is it's not like a news release where you can like just wait for the number and then wait 5 minutes to let price settle a little bit. Like he's going to be talking for, I think it was like over an hour yesterday. So it's like, how do we be patient and wait until Powell speaks? Are we just going to come back in an hour and trade then? You know? We do also have new home sales, which doesn't usually affect it that much. That number apparently is out right now, and it didn't really affect it. kind of just chopping around right now, hanging out here at Anchored View Op. So I do have an account to give away today, which I'm excited about. We'll do that later. I'll send you guys a form that you can fill out and we'll do a little drawing live for it. We'll do that maybe when we hit a spot where we don't want to be taking any trades, or maybe we have taken trades and I'm done. So stick around for that. Maybe we'll wait until we get a certain amount of likes too. Can we get to like 30 likes? I'm a newbie streamer, so 30 would be a lot for me. I think I got 25 yesterday. We have 27 people watching right now. So if all of you go hit that like button, we'll be almost there. Let's see if we can get 30 likes and we'll do that giveaway. Not necessarily at 30 likes. I don't want to like mislead you guys, because we could be in the middle of a trade at that point. We'll make sure it's a spot where I'm not distracted. How's it going, Cameron? Good morning, Don. Susie, I just realized I said good morning to you. If I remember right, you're in Europe. So, good afternoon to you. All right, starting to come back down. My fingers were itching to take a short here, but I didn't want to diddle in the middle. And like I said when I first signed on, that I don't want to be trying to short all-time highs. So I stayed patient on that and did not take a short. So at this point, maybe it's going to hit those levels that I initially talked about, grabbing this liquidity or coming back down to view up. So going to wait for a reaction around there. Hopefully get a good bounce. It's kind of what I'm watching for. Yep, it pays to wait. Good job, Coach Set. I definitely had a little bit of FOMO here when I like laid it out with my orange squiggly line and then it started to leave without me. I was like, I missed it. But I would have targeted at least 15-minute opening range high, so I probably would have gotten stopped out at break even anyway. So glad I was patient. Oh, Lindsay, you were on. I called you Cameron, and you're like, wait a second, I'm not Cameron. That's my son's account. That's funny. All right, back down to this 15-minute opening range low. Come on, are you just going to bounce from there again? Come down to view up. Don't just play around right there. Shez Miguez, do you use the risk to reward tool? This one where you can like go long and play around with your stop loss. Do you use this tool? If not, this is a really good way to play around to figure out your sizing. because you can go into settings and say how much you want to risk per trade. So like if you double click on this, I like to risk about $200 per trade. And then it tells me my quantity if I was to take this trade, which I'm not, but like playing around with your stop loss, it tells you order 4 contracts, or in this case, order 2 or 3 contracts. That's how I figure out my sizing. Oh, you just jumped in. So it bounced off that 15-minute opening range low again, but that's not a convincing buy up. And we did make a lower low here, starting to reject this VWAP. Kind of looking like a short would be the play. It's just a matter of how low are we going to come. So let's see, if we do take a short, I would put my stop loss up here above that previous wick high and maybe come down to like previous day high or lower. All right, guys, I'm going to take a short. I know I said I wouldn't, but we made a lower low. Starting to kind of play around with that 15-minute opening range low without a convincing buy up. And we have Powell speaking. He's probably going to say something negative. I know I said I didn't want to take shorts today, but that was kind of with like the idea in mind that we were just slow grinding up and continuing to make new all-time highs, which I know we're in all-time high territory, but we're starting to make lower lows. So that's my thought process behind it. So I'm going to be watching VWAP closely. If we do get down there and bounce, then I'll exit it. 502.5. So adjust this entry. Still holding below that anchored VWAP on the New York anchored VWAP. And we kind of did have that fake breakout to the downside and then a weak bounce, still continuing to reject. So that's why I'm taking this short. Just a matter of how low, like how bearish are we going to get? Are we just going to bounce at VWAP and then continue higher? Or are we going to move down to like all this liquidity that we have below? We have point of control and London low, which would be a good spot to grab. And then we have Asia low below too. But we'd have to get pretty bearish for that. So we'll see. Sasmit says we're in the same short but different ideology. Yeah. That's one thing I love about trading is like all kinds of different strategies work and you can have the same short, same trade, but different reasoning. Lots of different strategies can be profitable. It's just a matter of how you implement them, how you manage your risk. All right, so, I mean, if we get down here to like London low. Asia low would be like the home run target, but I'll definitely scale out if we start going that low. Definitely not showing signs of like big move to the upside. It's looking a little bit weak, but obviously, I mean, not continuation to the downside either. Still just kind of chopping. So Asia low, I think, was sitting right at like 390. Yeah. So that would be the home run target, but there's a lot of spots before then. This would be just if it gets super heavy. All right, so there's VWAP. Got a little bit of a bounce there. Let's see if it breaks below VWAP and holds. We're below the 15-minute opening range low right now. If we bounce off of VWAP and continue higher, then this idea is no good, in my opinion. We need to get below VWAP and hold for us to reach any of these levels down here. So normally I would be adding to my position, but honestly with VWAP as support right below, I'm a little bit nervous to add right now. I think I would want to wait for it to get below VWAP with some confirmation before possibly adding to my position. So, gonna keep my risk lower for now. But we are holding outside of this 15-minute opening range. So I feel good about that. Shez Miguez, you should have taken like 17 contracts. That's a big amount of dollars on the line. Unless you have a giant buffer, you can blow an account real quick like that. All right, starting to get back inside that 15-minute opening range. It is holding above VWAP. It's got to get below. I guess I could pull up Financial Juice and watch what kind of red news events come through. Trump says, I dealt with both and both are exhausted on the Iran conflict. I guess the Iran conflict is ending. Maybe that's why we're at all-time highs. All right, coming down to VWAP. I am gonna move to break even at this point, and we're getting heavy. So, gonna wait for a closure below. This could easily be just a fake out and bounce up. So if we close below VWAP, I'll add to my position. Because to me, this would have been the spot to bounce. If it does not bounce there, then we have lots of levels below. Ended up closing above VWAP. Yeah, Coach said that's why I have my stop loss at break even. Because this right here was the support I was worried about. So if we do get a bounce off of that, then I'm out. My idea was wrong. I want to make sure to manage my risk here. All right, it's still looking heavy to me. I'm going to add 2 more to my position. And then I'm going to get ready to start scaling out. So I'm at break even. Looking at levels. Hold on, let me put in my actual 22,491. So since I added, my average came down a little bit. So looking to scale out. I'll take one out at previous day high, 446. Come on, don't bounce. Continue lower. What are you doing? Don't give me that bounce. Still kind of playing around with this VWAP. I could have been a little bit more patient in my adding to the position, because it looks like we are going to come back up to 15-minute opening range low. Hopefully reject, but that's right where my stop loss is too. Come on, let's get a rejection. Yep, I ended up getting stopped out. So where I went wrong on that trade is I should have been more patient with adding to the position. I got a little bit excited when we started to close below, but that was really just a 1-minute candle closure. We still could come up to the 15-minute range low where we're at now and reject. So there's still a possibility for a short. All right, I'm going to re-enter on that bounce off of the 15-minute. I just had my stop loss at the wrong spot. I still think the idea is right. So now my entry is 481. Still not getting below that VWAP. Kind of wondering if this is going to be a fake breakout to the downside. We have about 11 minutes until the initial balance is set. We have lots of liquidity over here to grab. Check out this area. Still holding below that 15-minute opening range low, but fighting with VWAP and it's not getting below. So stop loss, I don't want to let it come back into the range because then I feel like it's going to go higher, and this would be a fake out. So probably going to put it above that wick at 22,500. Starting to feel a little less confident in it at this point, just because it is holding above VWAP, kind of pinching below 15-minute opening range low and VWAP. Not really much decision either way. Still fighting. Lots of red news events are coming up from Trump talking about it's possible Putin has territorial ambitions beyond Ukraine. The Iran-Israel conflict could start again. But then it says Trump may sign the Iran agreement next week. Lots of news popping up, you guys. So if you are in a trade, definitely have your stop losses in. One of these news events could come out and just make it fly in either direction. So be careful, you guys. I have Financial Juice. I just have the free version, so I think it's delayed by like 30 seconds or something. But yeah, it's financialjuice.com. And they have a calendar of all the news events that are coming out, so you can be prepared for when like CPI comes out and when Powell's speaking. And then they have a current news feed, which is what I was reading off now. And I usually just pay attention to the red ones because those are the big movers. Still just kind of chopping around. 491 is where I have my initial balance, so it is holding below that. My cursor is right at 491. And coming back down to VWAP. Let's see if this candle can actually close below and hold. That's the biggest barrier I think we need to get past is VWAP. So it keeps like playing with it, and then it comes back up and closes above. So it's playing with us. It's almost like sellers want to bring it down, but buyers are strong in defending it right now. Looking at the book map, heat map, there's not a lot right now. We do have some up at 550, which would be a new all-time high. And I did say that I wasn't taking shorts today, and here I am in a short, about to get stopped out. Getting back up above that 15-minute opening range low. It's never good to fight VWAP. Should have stuck with my original plan. Not taking shorts today. It's tough though too, because if you were to long here, now that it's starting to close back within the 15-minute opening range low, then you have this VWAP, which has been serving as resistance. So we're pinching between these. So honestly, you guys, if I get stopped out, which I probably will, I'm really close, I'm going to wait until we clearly break out of either one of these VWAPs. Because we're pinching right here. And there's not a whole lot of decision. So would want to wait for confirmation. Yeah, I agree, G-Man. Tough area to trade in. What are you looking at? Coach set this trend line. Something like that. Yeah, it's right there. That means it's going to reject, right? I don't know. VWAP is definitely providing support. All right. Got a little selling pressure there. Are we going to actually hold below this time? Come on. Playing with my emotions here. All right. Wrong on that idea. Should not have taken a short into VWAP. So for now, gonna wait until we get confirmation of a close below VWAP or above the New York anchor VWAP. We also have our initial balance set at this point, so we can take some trades off of that by chance, possibly too. Oh man, that was a crazy wake up. We did have crude oil inventories were just released at 10:30, so that might have been what that wick was. So again, this is the pinch I'm talking about. This VWAP and this VWAP. You can see it just chopping around between these two. So no clear direction. We also have the 15-minute opening range low, like right in the middle of it. You're talking about the quant strategy from ASFX. Yeah, I have those envelopes on too. So we are right at the median, which kind of makes sense because here we're kind of in a chop zone. So what do? Long, short? Nobody knows. So we're starting to hold above this 15-minute opening range low. We are above VWAP. But I don't feel like longs would be the play for me. Just because we're below New York and we don't have a lot of like volume and momentum up at this point. So I think if I was going to take a long, since we do have the initial balance set, maybe come back down and retest initial balance low and then continue higher. That's a possibility. But right now it's chopping in the middle. What is our total range for today? Oh, 86 points. That's ugly. Richard, buenos dias. All right, you guys. So, like I said, we're going to do a giveaway. How many likes do we have? How many likes do we have? Are we at 30 yet? Let's see. 23. We currently have 23 people watching right now. So have all of you guys liked the stream? Can we get to 30? 7 more. And I'll send you guys the form for the giveaway. We're doing a 50K account giveaway with Top One Futures, their new pro sim funded account. I have a free one to give you guys. Still holding above that 15-minute range low. But still chopping between these VWAPs. $27 likes. 3 more. And I'll send you guys the giveaway form and we'll start collecting names to do a drawing. Lost Texan says he's not interested in a long unless we get down to 400. All the way down here. We're still rejecting that VWAP. Why do I have such an urge to take shorts? Why am I doing that on a day where like hitting all-time highs? I need to stop it. Especially shorting into VWAP, which is showing strong support right now. Because I'd like to see it come down to Asia low, London low, point of control, like somewhere in this area. And I'd like to be riding it short. But for whatever reason, it's just not going. Well, like I said, it's chopping in between these VWAPs. So if it shows confirmation that it's closing below VWAP, then we can look at shorts. But if it breaks above here, could be looking at longs. What are we at? We got 29 likes. Nobody wants to do a drawing, huh? Did we get 30? Did we get it? Let me see. Cool. Awesome. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to put a Google form link in the chat and have you guys fill it out. So it's your name, your YouTube name, and then your email. I'm not gonna spam you guys. This email is just so that I can know where to send the free account. So put in a valid email, otherwise I won't be able to send it to you. So there's the Google form link. Click on that, put in your name, email, and YouTube name. And I'll leave it open for, 10 minutes or so. Give you guys a chance to fill it out. Just fill it out once. I'm only going to put your name on there once, so don't spam the form. Just do one. And then I'll do a fun little wheel spinner. So if you guys are just signing on, we have a 50K Top 1 Futures Pro Sim Funded account to give away. I just put the Google form in the chat. Click on that, put in your name, email, and your YouTube name, and I'll add you to the drawing. So I'll give you guys some time to fill that out. No rush. Well, this is a good time to be doing a drawing. It's still just chopping here in between these VWAPs. Nothing good coming right now. Coming back up to New York anchored VWAP. Getting a little bit of a rejection. There was pretty good volume on that last 1 minute candle. And then pretty strong rejection. Hopefully someone in the chat's making money on this price action. It ain't me. For whatever reason, my eyes just keep looking for shorts. Like right now, I'm seeing a flag. Like, I see a bear flag. I know it's ugly because there's wicks. But, like, this is the pattern that my eyes are seeing. What's wrong with me? Why do I only want to take shorts on a day that we're hitting all-time highs? Somebody come make me stop. Feels like the risk of a sweep lower with Fed speakers is high. Gonna sit on my hands for now. Yeah. Risk of Fed speaker plus just not really hitting any levels with clear direction. Like, I could make an argument for longs and shorts right now, honestly. We're continuing to reject this VWAP. It was rejection here, 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 like 3 big rejections. But we're also showing support at the overnight VWAP. So don't want to be shorting into that. D says, I always want to go short. It's a problem. Yeah, a couple, like, over the last month, 2 months ago, shorts were money. Not right now. Not this week. All right, you guys. I'm adding your names to the wheel. I've gotten a couple more entries, starting to slow down a little bit. If you're just signing on and you haven't heard, there is a Google form in the chat. You can click on that link. We're doing a little giveaway here in a couple minutes. There we go. Getting a breakout, getting some movement outside of this chop. So if you're a brave person, you could take a long off of this because technically it's a breakout from VWAP. And then put your stop loss below this previous wick. I don't like to play around in the middle. So I don't think I'm going to take that trade. That was a pretty good momentum candle though, and it closed strong. So you could do something like that. Put your stop loss down below that previous wick. Target the range high, something like that. We do have quite a few orders up at 550, which is right above initial balance high. So yeah, there's some momentum behind that trade. That could have been a good one. I'm going to see if we get to the initial balance high, if there's a possibility for a failed auction or a breakout and retest trend continuation. Since I already have a loss in this account, down 187, I'm going to be patient and wait for a good trade. So going to wait until we get to the initial balance high or low. Alexis caught that long. It looks like Coach Set got in along. Good job, guys. All right, we still have entries coming in. I'm gonna give you guys about 3 more minutes. I'll say 9:50 my time, 10:50 Eastern time. And then we'll close up the form at that point, and I'll put my little wheel spinner on the screen and we'll do the drawing. See, that's why I don't like taking trades in the middle. That was a pretty strong rejection. I'm glad I stayed patient and did not get in that long. Hopefully if you guys got long, you just kind of scalped it real quick and got out. All right, now that we're coming lower, we could possibly, again, look for a failed action on the downside of the initial balance low. My A+ setup, ideal situation is a liquidity grab plus a failed auction. So what that would look like is all this over here, sitting right at previous day high, Asia levels, like this liquidity here. If we come down and grab some of that and have a really strong reaction and close back within the initial balance, I love those failed auctions. So that would be sweet. One more minute, you guys. Go click on that form, enter your name, email, info. We'll do a drawing here in a little bit. Coming back down to VWAP. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close down the form. Make sure I get all of your names entered. I'll bring the wheel onto the screen and do the drawing here in a little bit. Now that we're starting to get some movement, I want to see if we get that failed auction. Taking off from Huntsville to Atlanta. Check in when we land in 45 minutes. Have a safe flight. All right, bouncing off of VWAP. I'd like to see it get down to initial balance low, maybe grab some liquidity and bounce off for a nice little failed auction. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. But still just continuing that shop. Another bounce off of VWAP. Man. What are you guys thinking? Long or short? What are you watching for? We're still just playing around in the middle of that initial balance. Here's the high up here. Here's the low. Chopping around between these VWAPs. For me and my strategies, that is a no trade zone. No trades. All right, since we're not really going anywhere right now, I'm gonna bring the wheel onto the screen. I hope I don't miss a trade. I'll flip-flop back and forth and make sure we're not hitting any of those levels. Someone tell me in the chat if we're like coming down to initial balance low or initial balance high. Tell me. All right, here's the wheel. Tell me, scan it real quick. Make sure you see your name. Make sure I got all of them. If you don't see your name, tell me in the chat. I want to make sure it's fair. Where did my spinner go? Might make me save it. Hold on, I haven't used this one before. Is it gonna let me spin it? I might have to try a different one. I don't see my spin button. It was on my other screen. Weird. All right, hold on, guys. I'm gonna find a different one that's actually gonna let me spin it. All right. Hold on. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. You can hear my little celebratory applause. I was testing this new wheel spinner to make sure it works. All right, I'm gonna try again. So I just copied all the names over. So should be the same as before. There's 24 of you. You guys ready? Did I make you wait long enough? The suspense is real. I faked you out earlier with the wrong wheel spinner. That wasn't gonna work. All right, let's do it, you guys. I'm gonna click to spin. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Oh, Chad. Looks like Chad. Is Chad in the chat? Where's Chad? Where's Chad? Are you here? I'll give him a couple minutes to say hi in the chat. If not, I can always pick a new person. Tell me if you're here, Chad. While we're giving Chad a second. Nope, still in that middle. Oh man, this is rough. Chad, are you here still? I'll give him another minute in case he stepped away from his screen. Ah, last text in is Chad. Cool. All right, I have your email. I'll get that sent over to you. And you should have it by, if not tomorrow, then come comment on my YouTube, come find me, and let me know that you don't have it. But I'll get that sent over to you. 50K pro account with Top 1 Futures. Awesome. Thanks for playing, guys. That was fun. So, still waiting on a setup. Chopping in here. Is Pal still talking? It looks like it. Financial Juice is still like showing recent updates about what Powell's saying. So I wonder if we'll get a little more direction when he's done. I can't imagine he's going to talk much more than an hour, right? Yeah, you're welcome. Last Texan. So tell me in the chat, you guys, does anyone have a bias? You think we're gonna go long? You think we're gonna go short? Or are you kind of like me and you're like, I don't know, let's wait and see? Coach Set says sideways. Yep. No direction for now. Ha Mama thinks long. So one thing, I used to get chopped up in this, like, this kind of stuff right here. I'd get super excited and be like, oh, we're breaking out, go long. Oh, we're rejecting, go short. And I would definitely blow accounts or have some really red days from it. I think having anchored VWAPs like this has helped me a lot, because just visually I can see that this and this is providing that support and resistance, and it's just chopping. So until we get a clear breakout in either direction, for me, this is no trade, no good setups. I think at this point, really, I'm waiting for a retest of initial balance high to see what the reaction would be. If it's going to be serving as resistance and we can short from there, or if we come back down and maybe grab some of this liquidity down here and then have a strong bounce and we can take a long off of the initial balance low. Those are the two things I'm waiting for. I'm guessing if I turn on the session volume profile, we're probably chopping around the point of control. Yeah, point of control is in that general area. Starting to get back down towards overnight VWAP. But just like last time where it kind of faked out below and then closed back up above, I don't want to be quick to short off of this. Especially since we're coming right down to initial balance low. What I think I'd like to see is a grab of some of this liquidity and then a bounce up, and we can take a failed auction trade. Let's see if that happens. So there we are at initial balance low. Not really getting a good strong buy up from there, so wouldn't want to take a long yet. A perfect scenario for a failed auction for me is a liquidity sweep and then a buy up. VK, we actually just finished the giveaway. So I did it about 5-10 minutes ago. I did a Google form, had people fill it out, and then I did a drawing. I'm planning on doing one every week though. So feel free to come join us again. That won't be the last one. So we are getting a small bounce off of this initial balance low, but also now below VWAP, so. That's not a very convincing buy up off of initial balance low. Susie, are you still here? I know you were talking about being patient and waiting for that initial balance, see if you can take any trades off of it. I'm curious if you're still here. Cool. Let's see if we can get a trade off of this initial balance then. Ideally, if we're gonna like come out of initial balance, if we can get a strong bounce off of some sort of support or grab liquidity, that usually looks a lot better for a failed auction. So this area right here, right around value area high, Asia high, there's some decent liquidity there. And then, I mean, if it starts to dump hard, there's a lot more down here too at point of control and London low area. For now, it is closing back within the initial balance low, but not like a convincing strong buy up yet. I'd like to see it come grab some liquidity and then get some momentum and movement back to the upside. Starting to break back below. Still kind of just chopping around this initial balance. I'm going to be patient. This kind of, it actually could have been like an initial balance breakout, retest, rejection, and continuation lower. That's a possibility. The way it's kind of just chopping around though and not getting a strong sell-off, I don't want to be quick to short this. Yeah, G-Man, I'm with you. It's definitely not easy. Have you taken any trades? So the way I like to see failed auctions, if that's what's going to happen, is like I said, come down to some liquidity and get like a strong, convincing buy up. We are starting to buy back up a little bit. That last 1 minute candle had some good volume. Kind of getting a decent base here. Still just chopping around. Honestly, either this could be like a breakout to the downside and rejection because it is holding below VWAP, but there's not a strong sell-off, so that's not convincing. I think I'm personally leaning more towards a failed auction and it's going to continue higher. But I'd like to see it come down and actually grab some liquidity and get a strong buy up first. That's why I'm not entering yet. It's kind of what I'm waiting for. It did bounce off of previous day high. I agree with you on that one. I think what's holding me back is if you look left, there's still some wicks here at like 445 and even a little bit lower at like Asia high around 434. And then we didn't, like, if we would have bounced off of a previous day high with a really strong buy up, then I would have been more convinced. I don't feel strongly about shorts though, because again, it's chopping around here and it's not getting like a strong sell-off. There's not momentum that way either. Although it could be a decent short because there's quite a few areas down. Like it could come all the way down to Asia low, honestly. So I think at this point it would be too late to take a short for me at least because I would want to put my stop loss way up here. So I'm going to see how it reacts at this value area high, Asia high level, because that's kind of where the wicks and liquidity grab area could be. And then see if we start to buy back up to initial balance low. See, there's a little bit more momentum. For me, I think if this ends up closing back above initial balance low and then stays within, that could be a good failed auction. I'd like to see it come a little lower, ideally. But that was a decent spot. Starting to get a little buy up here. The stop loss on that right now would only be like 10 points. That's not that bad. Could even go, if we were to enter here, put the stop loss a little lower to give it some room. I'm going to enter a small position long now that we are starting to get a buy up off of that low. $462 is my entry. Let's see if we actually get a confirmation of a closure back within the initial balance. I entered a small position. If I do like to add in a normal trending market, I know I messed myself up on the last trade by adding, but if we get confirmation that we're closing back within initial balance low, we could possibly add and then target possibly range high if we start to get some momentum behind this. I know I try not to set my targets 100% based off of Bookmap, but last time I looked, there were quite a few up at 550, which is right at initial balance high. I'm gonna give my stop loss a little bit of room and go below these previous wicks at 436 is where I'm gonna put my stop loss right now. And as we move higher, I will lower that risk. The fact that we're establishing this base and we're not getting strong selling pressure is kind of making me wonder if we are going to go back up. A little fake out to the downside. I definitely could be wrong though. Not going to lie. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room just in case it wicks below. I don't want to see that. This liquidity right here at like 437. That's what I'm worried about. I wonder if it's going to come down and grab that before bouncing up. Zev, I just saw your comment, how to enter the giveaway. We did it. We finished it a little while ago, 20, 30 minutes ago. We did the drawing already. Come back next week though. I'm planning on doing it again. I'll give one away each week. Still just chopping around right there. Trading is hard. Yes. Yes, it is. Gosh. I thought this was maybe establishing a little bit of a base and then move higher. It is not moving higher. Looks like if this is indeed going to be a failed auction, I may have gotten in too early. We have initial balance low at 462.75. Starting to move lower. I don't like it, you guys. The reason I moved my stop loss was to give a little bit of room in case we come down to this 437 area of liquidity and then bounce. There's a little bit of movement up. Come on. Let's get some strong volume. Strong buy up and then hold above initial balance low. And then for the cherry on top, break above all these VWAPs and then let's just go up to the initial balance high. Sound good, you guys? Sound like a plan? Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. You know you wanna. Getting a little peekaboo back up above the initial balance low. But we do have resistance right above us. Susie likes that plan. So that was good volume on that candle. I know it's just a 1 minute candle, but I do like to pay attention to volume. Still some resistance overhead though with this VWAP, that VWAP. We got some stuff to get through if we're gonna move higher. So not celebrating yet. All right, slow grinding on up. I'd love to find a spot to add to my position. I don't necessarily want to here though, since we do have VWAP right overhead. And then we also have New York anchored VWAP, which has definitely been resistance all day. So, I don't know. Not too sure. Shesmiguez, you got scared. You suck at longs. There's a little more momentum. Still just kind of playing around. I'm not convinced in it moving higher yet. Got a little bit of resistance overhead. There you go, G-Man. That's smart. Lock it up. Come back and try again tomorrow. I agree, G-Man. I actually still have the futures desk account that I haven't taken a trade on today either. Not sure if I want to. Not feeling confident about this failed auction anymore either. Kind of looks like it might be more of a breakout to the downside, unless something changes here in a second. We need to get some buyers to bring it back above VWAP. Still keeping my stop loss where it is. That way, in case it decides just to come down and grab a little more liquidity before bouncing higher. I feel like it kind of wants to, since sellers aren't really taking the reins. No one is. I don't know. Not good. All right, guys. We're going to get stopped out. All right. I'm done. I think that's it for me, you guys. I'm going to call it there. I don't like the way this is acting. Cool. Well, if you guys are trading the rest of the day, trade safe. Hope you guys in green. It's not it for me today. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.